Welcome to Dynamo Dynamics, winning goals for digital dominance. I'm your host, Danny Perry, and I'm here to take you through this unique fusion of technology innovation and soccer enthusiasm. With me, as always, is my guy, Peterson. We're here to talk some Dynamo football and whatever else comes to mind. So, Guy, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I had a great weekend. I actually got to attend the Dynamo game this past Saturday. It was very exciting. It was a really cool experience to see. It surprised me. We had a lot of fans who seemed like diehard fans for our club, which is very exciting to see. So maybe there's an upward trend of the Dynamo bringing in more fans and selling out games more often and just having a better culture, because Houston's such a huge city. We have 3 other professional sports teams. I know it's a little difficult to keep the attendance high, but it was very exciting to see. The game started out pretty slow. We really controlled possession the whole game. We honestly looked pretty solid the whole game. We really controlled the game overall, but gave up that one. I think it was a little mistake I think it was just lack of concentration, if I'm being honest, for how that even went down. But it was really good to actually be there. And though the pitch was a little wet, though, I will say there was a little rain coming down, so that could have affected some of the play, but it wasn't raining too bad.
Well, just jump right into it, why don't you, Kai? I definitely want to talk about the game day experience a little bit more, because having attended Dynamo games in person, it is a pretty cool fan experience. So I really want your take on that. Unfortunately, we did not get the win. We held them for most of the game, and Austin, the budding rivalry, I would have to say, after watching this game and the chippy nature of the play and the way that Austin scored in the 86th minute to take it away, to take the victory after such a really dominant Dynamo performance. I'm sure that's going to do nothing but stoke the flames of the rivalry. Plus, we had the return of a fan favorite for Houston as well, though, which we'll get into, I'm sure. But let's talk stats real quick, and then I would like more on your game day experiences. Looking at this, and myself looking at it, you were at the game. You can give us a better idea. But this looks like a game the Dynamo should have absolutely won. If you're looking at the stats, I see 17 shots to 7, 6 shots on target to 4, 68% possession at 32, passing accuracy at 87 and 77% respectively. We gave away a lot of fouls, 16 versus their 11, 4 yellows to their 2, and everything else was relatively even, especially corners 2-1 in their favor. So with all of that said, dominating possession, dominating shots, dominating the looks like the midfield with our passing accuracy, everything else being relatively equal. How did we lose this game?
We couldn't finish in front of goal. We probably, out of those 6 shots on target, probably 2 to 3 were troubled the keeper. There were 2 for sure where the keeper, actually, Austin's keeper, made a fantastic save. But yeah, it just seemed like we couldn't get that last piece just finished. It seemed like we just came up short a lot. Even we even had like a cross that came in at the end of the first half that we almost had a header for it to end the first half on a good note. But it just seemed that we couldn't just get that last little part. And it's kind of what we've said week in and week out. We got to score to win. We've been averaging, I think, about 1 goal per game. And this time when we didn't score, we almost held it to a 0-0 draw, but Austin did come away with that 1 goal.
That's not some spectacular attempts by the Dynamo players. Ibrahim had a great shot from the right that was saved by the keeper in pretty spectacular fashion. Kowalski had a breakaway that stopped due to a penalty. Bassi had a great attempt on goal as well, and their keeper was really up to the task. Would you say the same?
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. He played a great game. Like the Ibrahim, I thought that one was going to be the for sure goal because the ball landed right at his feet and the right spot. He was in the right spot at the right time, and I feel like he should have put that one away. But the keeper also made a great play there and denied it. But it was really exciting. The game day experience. Every time the Dynamo were in a scoring position, a lot of people were on their feet cheering like really loud. You could kind of hear the roar of the crowd. Just like when Ibrahim almost scored that, everyone was standing in the stadium. There was a big roar, and it was exciting. It was definitely really cool to see, especially when I really thought it was awesome that the fans were really into it about backing our players as well. Because I know it was a very scrappy game. A lot of pushing and shoving was happening in the midfield, and our fans are really just getting on to the other team and also the referees when they thought the refs made a bad call. So that was really exciting to see.
Yeah, it is a great fan experience, I think, at their Shell Energy Stadium. And there are some truly passionate Houston Dynamo fans out there, and that fan base is only going to grow. Games like this against in-state rivals, I think, can do nothing but help. But also, as far as the play on the pitch, unfortunately, we've dropped down to sixth in the Western Conference after the loss, but still very much in this thing. And we got to see the return of a fan favorite, the Dynamo's really most outstanding player, and over the last year, who's been out for an extended period of time. How did you guys react when Mr. Herrera made his appearance finally?
When he got subbed on, basically all the fans stood up and gave him a standing ovation, which is really cool to see. I did actually see a lot of people wearing his jersey too. There was a lot of Herrera jerseys walking around the stadium, so you could tell he was definitely a fan favorite, and he definitely got the honor that he deserves for his play for us because he's a solid player in the midfield. So I'm glad we can have him back. Hopefully he gets in form to where he can actually play a little bit more than I can't remember the exact minute he got subbed on, but it was in the second half. So it would be nice for him to get some more playing time, get him back in the action a little bit, and get him up to speed.
I agree. I think it can't hurt but to help with him coming back in that type of presence in the midfield, and with the younger players having developed while he has been out. It looks like we have the makings of a very solid team. They've been winning. However, there are moments of inexperience. I think that he will help to alleviate going forward as he gets back into match shape. So I was really excited to see him come back on, and I'm glad to hear that the fans gave him the type of on-field honor that he deserved.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing actually more Kowalczyk play more because he really shows passion when he plays. I mean that foul it was a foul. I will say when he stole the ball and he would have been one-on-one with keeper, it was a foul. But he was doing that all game where he was pressing and he was really, really up, keeping the intensity on, and he was getting every other player waving him on. Hey, get there, get in this position. We need to be ready for this. So. He was putting the pressure on, and it was good to see. I mean, he didn't have a goal this game, but the pressure was really nice to see. It made the Austin's keeper. I think sometimes there was maybe once or twice where he had to kick it out, just out of bounds because he had nowhere to go. So that's good.
It's funny. We always look at strikers as whether they're scoring goals or not as to whether they're having success, but there's so much more to that position. And I agree with you. We've said over the last few weeks of this show that we need a striker who gets a consistent run of games to round into form. And it looks like he's doing that to me too. The passion he plays with is pretty obvious, whether he's scoring or not scoring. But he does the other things, the hold up play, contributing on defense, all of those things that really contribute to making a good striker great. So the goals will come, but I would hope we get to see this run continue, especially with Hector Herrera.
Yeah, and especially with it'll definitely be another scrappy game next week against Dallas, so another in-state rivalry. So yeah, it's good to see that the players are also anytime like Kowalczyk. I mean, again, he stole the ball or he he had an attempt or not on target. He had an attempt, and or we had a corner kick. I think that's what happened. He had an attempt, and it ended up becoming a corner. Like afterwards, he like got his hands up, looked at the crowd, and said, "Hey, like everyone, get up, like get loud. We got to keep the pressure on the other team," which is really nice. So I think the intensity moving forward, even though we had a loss, I think it'll help us in next week because Dallas is a lower, they're a bottom of the table team right now, but they have a good squad, and I think we need to have a good win against them, score some goals, and just keep the intensity up.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. And losses, they do hurt. And and I have to mention, this is the first time we filmed this show not in the same studio. So, and I have to say, I'm glad. I'm glad because there was a loss midweek last week that really, really, really hurt me. So not in the MLS, but in the Champions League between Arsenal and your team, Bayern Munich. Boo! You pulled it off. On to the semis. Congratulations. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I think I knew we were going to take care of business going into that game. I wasn't nervous one bit, but it was a very competitive game. I just think your team just wasn't definitely well prepared physically as a team, but mentally, I don't think y'all have been there enough recently to. Y'all didn't seem like fluid. Y'all didn't move the same way y'all usually do. I think that really contributed to y'all played very stiff, and once we had a game at home and we scored, I kind of just saw the game was going to end 1-0 or around there. But it was great to see that we're moving on. We do have to play Real Madrid next, which is a very good team. So, but hey, we'll see.
Good luck, but I'm not ready to say that to you yet.
I'm sorry.
I think it was a pretty tight game overall. And defensively, Arsenal played well enough to win it. But I agree with your assessment that experience matters in a situation like this. Bayern Munich is always there. This is Arsenal's return to the Champions League stage, second year after a long absence. And these players, none of them have been there really before, with the exception of the transfers, Jesus and Zinchenko, who didn't really factor that much into this match. But I think the experience is going to teach them, and they'll be better prepared for it next year. But unfortunately, that means you just have to deal with the disappointment of this year. We still have the league to fight for, but Champions League would have been nice.
Yeah. I mean, that'll be great. There's always next year. But well, what is your predictions for next week against Dallas?
I think that, again, this is another rivalry. This is a real rivalry as far as the Dynamo are concerned. This is the one people kind of circle and are really amped up for. And I think the disappointment of this match is going to bleed over into the next, but in a positive way. I think the team will be ready. I think we know that with Herrera getting some game time this week, he will more than likely feature much heavier next week. We've seen the development of the Karaskias and Bassies and Arturs and everyone else on this squad. Ibrahim, all of these players have gotten better over the first part of this season. I think all of that is going to come into play every week, beginning with this week coming up against Dallas. So I'm going to say, since we've been so solid defensively as well, and a rivalry game, I'm going to go with my same prediction as last week, 1-0 to the Dynamo.
Okay, that's good. I think I'll go 2-1 Dynamo. I still have faith in us scoring more than one. But yeah, next week, we'll see.
That we will. So I hope that both of our predictions come through, at least as far as the victory is concerned.
Yeah, we definitely need that to move back up in the table a little bit.
All right. Well, more fan day experiences upcoming. We will definitely be in attendance and spreading the word about the Houston Dynamo and trying to get as many people into the stands as possible and moving forward. But I'm glad you got a chance to attend in person this week, and you looking forward to the next.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. Perfect. Perfect. Well, with that said, I think that's all we have for this week. We've assessed the match. I've let you talk a little bit about the Champions League, and good luck to Bayern next week. There, I said it. Um, and we've given our predictions. So we both think the Dynamo is going to come out on top. We think they should have came out on top this week, as a matter of fact, but we think they'll definitely pull it through next week. And so all we can do now is wait and see. So with that said, Kai, why don't you go ahead and remind the people.
All right, yeah. If everyone can like and follow us on our socials and keep up to date with us, we'll be having a video next week on Dynamo Dynamics.
Perfect. Follow us everywhere. And thank you for all of you who are tuning into the show weekly. And we look forward to joining you again next week. All right, until then, this is Danny and Kai, and we'll see you next week on Dynamo Dynamics.